The worst year for a lot of us for our mental as well as physical health. So joining us this morning is best-selling author, coach Lisa Goldenthal.
Hello and welcome. I'm Lisa G, your host. You're at the top of your game, yet the game is changing faster than ever. Strategies that got you here aren't the ones that'll keep you here. The pressure is relentless, and the fear of obsolescence looms large. That's why I'm here. Welcome to the new podcast series, Disrupted: How to Be Gritty and Unlock Performance in Business, Mindset, Wellness, and Success to help you master disruption.
Thanks for coming, and I'll see you soon.
He's a former NFL player turned inspirational speaker, author, and entrepreneur, founder and CEO of Ogden Ventures, LLC, a media and entertainment company that specializes in keynote speaking, business coaching, and consulting. He's a 3-time best-selling author and the host of the podcast, Get Authentic with Marques Ogden. In his speaking engagements, he leads his audience to understand why authenticity creates victory by sharing his personal story of overcoming adversity and achieving success. He's on a mission to inspire CEOs and other senior leaders to maximize their potential, reach their personal and professional goals. And that's why I'm so excited to welcome to the podcast, Marques Ogden.
Hey, how are you, Lisa? How's it going?
Great. I am so thrilled to have you here. I love your story, and I would really love to have our audience understand your story of hitting rock bottom and the role, your personal story, how the ego played into that experience. So why don't we start with that good stuff?
Sure, Lisa. So I'm from Washington, D.C. I went to Howard University. I was drafted to the National Football League by the Jacksonville Jaguars, which was an amazing experience. From there, I had almost a 6-year career in the National Football League. I then got out and I struggled immensely with identity issues, confidence issues. I had no inspiration. I had no drive. I didn't know what to do next. I finally got into construction about 6 months after leaving the NFL. I started a company called Caden Premier Enterprises. We started out as a small concrete contractor in Baltimore City. And then when my mentor went out of business, we then got into doing big time, construction, earthwork, grading, excavation, you name it. And we became the largest African-American owned subcontractor in the scope of site work in the city of Baltimore and the state of Maryland. But unfortunately, Lisa, as the company grew, so did what we call my inner demon or my inner ego. And I got so self-centered. I got so focused on money and fame and notoriety and that I ended up losing everything that I owned in the kitchen sink in, April 2013, and I had to move down to Raleigh, North Carolina, with who was at the time my fiance, who became my wife, my ex-wife, and I ended up having to start over from complete rock bottom when I got to Raleigh, North Carolina in April 2013.
Well, first of all, thank you for sharing your authentic story. I started this podcast myself in 2020 because it was hard for me. I want to help inspire others to pivot, overcome adversity. So how then did you manage to overcome losing millions of dollars after being so successful, both in the NFL and in business?
So what happened is, Lisa, I ended up having a really hard time, got fired from 2 jobs in the same week. I ended up doing some football coaching and training just to pay the bills. And I started a little company called Ogden Elite Football Camps. And that was going okay, but it wasn't making enough. And so one of my clients had a janitorial business and she needed some extra help working the night shift. And I needed the money. So I ended up taking a job working from 10 p.m. until 5 a.m. on the graveyard shift for $8.25 an hour. And then what happened is, Lisa, I finally had my rock bottom moment. It's funny, it took me this long to get to that point after all that I went through. And I was working as a custodian in somebody's trash and rotten, nasty. Think about every type of spoiled, disgusting piece of garbage, Lisa, you can imagine. Rotten meat, you name it.
Ew.
All of that got all over me, my clothes, my skin, my body. And I ended up cleaning myself up to the best of my ability, sitting down on the curb, and I started to cry for about 10 minutes. What I realized, Lisa, at that moment, that I was not accountable for the failures that I made with the construction company. I did a lot of extra work that I should not have done, and I should have waited and got signed change order, signed documentation, but I thought I could trust my client. I thought I was an important piece to them, and in reality, like I tell everybody, every business owner is going to watch out for their bottom line over yours, period. That's the way that it goes. So I ended up finally hitting that rock bottom moment, came home, I said, I want to be a speaker. I want to start speaking. I want to help, like you're starting your awesome podcast to help people. I want to help people. And unfortunately, no one told me that it's actually like a business. So I started speaking. I got nowhere fast. Didn't get a paid speaking job for 2.5 years. Finally, got my first paid speaking job in April 2016 with Miller Mock College in Wilmington, North Carolina. I got paid $1,500 for a 12-minute graduation speech. I was ecstatic. I was thrilled. And I was like, wow, I can do this. Had a couple more jobs here or there. And then what happens, right, Lisa? As I coach a lot of people, I started to coach people through me learning from other coaches. So I got coached. I went to a program at Penn State called NAPSA, National Athletic Professional Success Academy. Mel Robbins, a world-renowned speaker, mentored me into how to become a better speaker. I'm on her audio book, Kick Ass with Mel. So I'm chapter number 3 in her amazing audiobook. And that was the beginning of me turning my life around. It's getting into a place where I could say to myself, wow, you have the ability, Marques, but learn the business side of it. And once I learned how to be a better speaker, how to do branding, marketing, sales, ops, finance, how to get out there, how to social media, to follow up, to automate, delegate, eliminate, all these things, then we start to build a successful track record. Now, again, I'm constantly learning even to this day, and I'll never stop learning. But we're much more advanced today than we've ever been because we really worked hard to grow a company and set up systems to be able to do exactly what we're trying to get done for our client base.
Well, once again, I really appreciate how you keep it real because there's so many people out there that are these gurus that are like sitting in front of their Ferrari and they're all like, just do this and it happens. And I've been told that so many times in business, and it's really not like that. I mean, there's no straight shot to success in business. And I love how you keep it real about how it took you several years to get paid as a speaker, and then you wanted to know the business of speaking. And in my opinion, grit, resilience, and accountability are some of my favorite topics I'd really love to explore with you because they're so important to me too. You mentioned accountability in your business. No one was holding you accountable. How important is having accountability to success in life?
Lisa, if you have no accountability, then in reality, you have no type of real structure to get where you want to go. If you say, I want to be successful, well, that's great. How, right? When? Why? What are you going to do? What makes you special, right? You want to start a business. Okay, that's great. Do you know how you're going to brand yourself? You know how you're going to market? Do you know how you're going to actually close sales? You're actually going to be able to do the work once people hire you. Can you collect money for your services? And coaching is so important, and getting people to advise you and work with you and help you to get where you want to go is vital. Because a lot of times, it's like one of my good friends is a strength coach, right? I'm on week number 9 of his workout. He sends to me. I do the workouts. I took this week to kind of do like my old kind of workout. I went 9 weeks straight with his. I'm gonna do 1 week where I do kind of like just like, each body part for high sets, high reps, and all, and moderate weight. I'll be back to his week 10 next week. But his program, it creates for me doing things that I wouldn't do on my own. Like, for example, I did my back today. I wouldn't have done my good mornings like I did today. I wouldn't have done, my Purdy roll like I did today without him coaching me, giving me a workout to do, holding me accountable to doing stuff that's going to make me bigger, stronger, faster, or at least as I'm older now, to allow me to like look a certain way, do the certain thing. And listen, our work, you take care of yourself. I can see, how we look is vital in sales and communication. People look at that. So that's an example where I'm now doing things that I would not have done, even on my kind of like my active recovery workout week, because he coached me on to do things that I hadn't done in years or had never done or forgot how to do. And so now I'm making it part of even what I'm doing, not doing his workout, doing my own. What he taught me is still in these workouts. So that's accountability. It is an internal promise that you make to yourself to do what is necessary to achieve what you want in life. And if you don't have that internal promise or that internal flame or that internal fire, first sign of trouble, first sign of hardship, first sign of rough waters, you will fold, or you will let that light burn out because you have no internal desire or passion to see things through.
I love the focus on internal accountability because I always think of both sides. There's also external accountability, like who are you going to say that you did the thing that you really didn't want to do, but you have to do it anyhow. So are both kinds of accountability important to you as well?
Oh, absolutely. So the internal, so here's the thing, right? Accountability is internal, plain and simple. What you're talking about is responsibility, where somebody else is going to tell you, like, again, right? So, quote unquote, I am responsible to our clients' success and growth because they have trusted me to do so. Right. Accountability is that how I basically keep myself squared away. So when I coach my clients, right, when I'm responsible to them and coach them, the information I tell them has to turn on their accountability switch. Because if I tell you something to do for your business, but you don't do it, then you can't look at me. So responsibility is when people tell you or like, again, want to help you get where you want to go. But accountability is that someone who is responsible to you or you trust or you feel safe to talk to gives you some advice or guidance. You have to turn that switch on yourself, right? I mean, Les Brown says it best. The driving force in life is hunger. What are you hungry for? What is that you want, right? So when I got divorced, right, Lisa, I had to move into a really crappy, broken down apartment in November of 2022. For 2.5 months, I was a mess, crying every night, couldn't barely sleep, cried myself to sleep, wake up after an hour, cry some more. How did this happen? Why am I divorced? My parents divorced. My dad did. Now I'm me. Like, why? Finally, around beginning of February 2023, I said, enough is enough. I can't keep doing this. And that's when I became accountable to myself to turn my life around. And that's when I was hungry, right, Lisa, for a better environment.
Hungry.
I was hungry for a better place for my daughter, for my, for me to live, for me to call home. Like the apartment wasn't home to me. It was a place to lay my head. I have a home now. So again, if you're listening, what drives you? What are you hungry for? Figure that out, and then you can move towards what you want in life. If you don't know what you're hungry for, what you desire, you're going to go through life aimlessly because you really have nothing you are trying to go and get. There's nothing it's like you have no purpose in life.
I love the focus on purpose, and I love how you exude grit and resilience. Like, how can you tell our audience how, we can fail forward too? We can have the grit and resilience that's required to keep failing forward no matter what, when giving up is just not an option.
3 things: focus, lock in, attack. Focus on what you want. What are you fighting for? What are you trying to scratch and claw and dig your way out for? What is it that you want, right? You gotta focus on that. And you gotta visualize. Arnold Schwarzenegger in his documentary said he has a rare talent. If he could see it, he could achieve it. He became a bodybuilder, became a phenomenal actor, became a politician. And now he's doing documentaries and all these amazing things, right? He said it best. He could see it, he could achieve it. You have to focus. So many people have no focus, have no clarity, have no purpose. And when you do that in life, you're never going to get where you want to go. Then you have to lock in. When you know what you want, when you focus and see what you want, and you visualize it or written it down, get your target set on it, right? Be sure that you know exactly what you're shooting for, right? Have a target and then attack. Action is the foundation of every successful person. You cannot win the game of life if you don't even step on the field to play.
Yeah, that is so true. So you got to focus, you got to know what it is that drives you, your motivation, and then all that is no good if you don't actually take action. So, do you have any final advice for our leaders on how they can take action and step up to the plate and shine with authenticity? Do you want to talk a little bit about leadership and company culture and all of that too?
So leadership, great quote by General Dwight D. Eisenhower. Leadership is the art of getting people to do what you want done because they want to do it. Another great quote on servant leadership. All servant leaders have one item in common: an unshakable mindset to charge forward with passion and purpose. If you're listening to this awesome podcast, try to remember this when it comes to leadership. It's not about you, right? You need to take care of you so you can be in a good place to help others. But it's not about you. It's not about what you want. It's not about what you're trying to get. It's not about what you're trying to put in your pocket. It's about the value you're bringing to your team, to your client base. Yes, take care of yourself through self-care. That is important. But once you are full with your cup of being able to give to others, then go and do that. I filled my cup this weekend, or past weekend, right, Lisa? I got a chiropractic treatment Sunday and Saturday and Sunday, and a pedicure on Sunday. First time in a while, I came to work on Monday with let's go. And I was doing a lot more for clients and more calls and more podcasts and, all these things that are allowing us to pour into other people, right? Again, as Les Brown said, his mentor said, when people are there to see you, right? In reality, you're not there to see them. They are there and they need to see you. So if you don't show up for your clients, if you don't show up for opportunities, if you don't show up for other people, you're doing them a disservice and an injustice. So understand that you are the one that people are coming to see, or again, at least say your work, your clients need you, right? That's what it's all about. And when people have that type of disposition that our clients need us, our team needs us, and we need to be there for them, it shifts the mindset that you're like, okay, no matter what I'm going through, what I'm dealing with, I'll get it done. Because I've been working since, woke up this morning at 4:30, worked on a couple things. I've been working on my first call since 8, all this. Last podcast, I have the same amount of energy now as I did when I started the day because I love what I'm doing. That's what you need to do to build a culture, build it around a thought, a vision, a disposition of collaboration and innovation and sense making and relating and allowing people to express themselves. Great quote by Steve Jobs. His hardest job at Apple was creating a psychologically safe environment for his trusted team members to express themselves without fear of being judged. That's culture. You can't see it, but you know it's there. You can't touch it, but it's in the air. You gotta remember, culture starts with people at the top creating an atmosphere of collaboration, inviting, open door policy, active listening, and conflict resolution. If something happens in business, which it always does, be able to resolve the conflict in a manner where both sides are heard and you can move forward with a aligned vision. And that's what a great culture is, right? At least I'll close with that. Is an environment or an organization or an atmosphere where everybody is sharing and has an accountability and a responsibility to the same aligned vision. When that happens, magic is literally right around the corner.
Well, Marques Ogden, that is just so many wisdom bombs in such a short amount of time. I know we connected on LinkedIn and I love the energy that you bring. I would have never guessed this was the last podcast of the day. So where can people find you?
Lisa, we have the Marques Ogden app. You can go to your Apple or your Android phone, go to your app store, type in Marques Ogden, MarquesOgden, free. You can subscribe there. Go to our website, www.marquesogden.com, or shoot me an email, marcus@marquesogden.com. Reach out to us, connect with us. We love to speak with you.
Well, thanks for being a fabulous guest on WholeCEO with Lisa G.
Thanks for having me on. Phenomenal interviewer, great show, and just a great person to interview. Thank you.